So what's up? What's the deal, guys? Welcome back to another edition of JA News.
It's up.
Salute to you for tuning in. As always, I'm hitting you with the latest stories here in the world of sneakers. So for today's show, we're talking upcoming releases. It looks like Nike is bringing back a sneaker that originally dropped over 10 years ago. For the first time, we're gonna be taking a deeper dive into the Travis Scott Utopia merch, plus an interesting inside look at a YEEZY Grail. So stay tuned for all of that, plus more. It's coming right up next. So I'm not even gonna lie, y'all been kind of lacking lately, so I need everybody to smash the like button. I'm hitting you with new episodes of JA News weekdays right here, so if you're new, be sure to subscribe. Don't miss any updates. So to kick off today's show, we're gonna talk about the big story hitting all of the sneaker blogs, and it looks like Nike has plans to bring back the KD4 Weatherman with a scheduled release date set for summer of 2024. So if you weren't around back in 2011, you may look at this sneaker and be like, what the hell are these? But back in the day, Nike basketball definitely had an amazing run. So many signature models from athletes ranging from LeBron to Paul George, KD, as well as Kyrie Irving. So many great signature models. These joints were really popular back in the day. And when it comes to the KD4, this Weatherman colorway was said to be one of the more coveted pairs. So these joints feature that weather graphic, the Doppler gang radar or whatever. So these joints are interesting. For me personally though, I really, kind of missed out on this whole Nike basketball era. Back in this time, like 10 years ago, I was really going crazy on my retro Jordans, Air Forces. So for me, there's really no nostalgia, for these pairs, but I wonder if any of you guys are excited for this. Again, this is one of the more popular colorways for the KD4. So I could see a lot of people that, grew up loving these shoes, having a lot of nostalgia, and these could be a hit for Nike. So we'll see. Again, they're scheduled to release coming up next summer. So it looks like they're kind of taking the playbook from the Jordan book, releasing retro models of past sneakers that Jordan played in. We'll see if this could be a success for some of these past, Nike athletes. So we'll see if KD, can do his thing. I know they've been dropping LeBron retros. Unfortunately, I don't see Nike doing too much work with Kyrie in the future, but we'll see if this can be a hit for Nike basketball. Again, these are set to release coming up next summer for a retail of $130. And we're gonna be taking a look at a brand new, all original silhouette from New Balance, the Warped Runner. This model right here, we've seen early pictures of it, but we now have a beautiful detailed look at this brand new silhouette from New Balance, and I gotta say, they did not disappoint. I feel like with this model, you're kind of infusing the past with the future, as on the upper, you kind of have your traditional base New Balance runner, but on the sole here, you got a warped, chunky, futuristic sole that just really engulfs this sneaker and kind of takes it from the past and brings it to the future. And I feel like New Balance is kind of replicating the success that they had with the 9060, which I feel like shares some of the same design hues. So I feel like with this model, I'm a fan of. I'm not mad at these at all. I definitely like the thick furry suede that they use on the upper here. I like how the N logo isn't really too pronounced, but almost kind of blends in with the modern design language used with this sneaker. So of course, with New Balance, you guys know they're gonna be dropping several different colorways planned for this model, and then they're gonna hit us with some cool looking collaborations. I love the way the bottom of this shoe looks, and I'm a big fan of this Aura Lee collaboration. Joints are coming in with a darker tone. So I'm gonna say that I'm checking for the Warped Runner. Currently, we have no scheduled release dates, but I'm expecting for these pairs to drop sometime this year. Let me know if you guys are excited for this drop, or do you feel like New Balance ain't it? So I had to ask, because I feel like literally anytime I mention New Balance in a video, there's always at least that one person saying that New Balance are trash. But I get it, it's not for everybody. But these next sneakers, on the other hand, I feel like were super popular, not only to Yeezy heads, but just sneaker heads in general. I'm talking about the Yeezy D-Rose or DZ, whatever you want to call it. These joints were circa around like 2020, I believe, is the first time that we saw Ye post images of this pair on the net, and I just gotta say, these joints go absolutely crazy. You guys already know. So I feel like this was around the time when the Yeezy Foam Runner like first released. So I think the appeal of this model is that it almost kind of reminded people of like a Foam Runner V2, you could say almost, but this was like right around the time, you know, when we were getting releases like the Yeezy Insulated Boot, the Yeezy Knit Runner, you know, a lot of the next futuristic, you know, wave of Yeezy upcoming designs, you know, that dropped right before the whole Yeezy Adidas partnership ended. So it's kind of sad to look back on what could have been, but then again, this model was just so amazing and so cool that we even saw bootlegs of it, you know, so there's actually a whole market of like unreleased Yeezy bootlegs, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So I'm thinking back to when this sneaker originally dropped, you know, when we first saw the images and we found out that they were supposed to be a D-Rose sneaker. I was kind of puzzled, like, was this a prototype? There's no way that this could have been considered to be a on-the-court basketball model. So was it supposed to be like a Derrick Rose lifestyle, off-the-court type of model? I wasn't really sure. Also, I was wondering like how they felt. They had to be super comfortable because it's a Yeezy, right? So a lot of questions in my mind, but unfortunately, you know, these joints never release. So it's kind of sad, as I mentioned, to kind of think on what could have been. And it's great that Yeezy designer Kitty Shookman, she actually posted to Instagram. She's the designer behind the D-Rose. So she posted looking through old work and found the very first quick sketch I did while sitting in the woods, seeing the creature-like fallen tree that inspired the concept. So it's amazing to see that this popular unreleased Yeezy model, some people would even call this a grail. For me, this would definitely be a Yeezy Grail. I would love to get my hands on these, but it's crazy to think that this popular unreleased Yeezy model was inspired by a tree. So it's just so cool to see, you know, how some of these Yeezy models were inspired. She even shared different sketches and some mock-ups of some, you know, unreleased potential, you know, Yeezy footwear. So it's crazy to see, you know, the mind and how it works and some of these interesting, unique, but yet odd designs that we could have potentially seen. So while there was some interesting looking slides here, this D-Rose, you know, unreleased DZ model was definitely a standout and just so much missed potential. But then on the other side of things, you know, it's cool to know that Kitty, she's still, you know, a part of the whole Yeezy team. We saw her out in Japan recently, so a lot of like the Yeezy fan pages and the Reddit pages were putting two together saying that she was out in Japan possibly cooking up some Yeezy stuff. So while none of that is confirmed, you know, she's doing some projects with Zellafield. So I'll be really excited to see, you know, what the future of Yeezy has in store. Of course, the DZ was a grail. Could you imagine if these were to release sometime in the future? Like, you know, Ye's trying to do his whole independent thing. In the meantime, we know Adidas is sitting on a whole bunch of Yeezy inventory. So we know more Adidas Yeezy pairs are gonna drop, but real fans are waiting for that new Yeezy. So wonder if we can maybe get some archival items like, say, the DZ. You know, this was never released back in the day, so it would be amazing if this was like a future drop. I think that would be a crazy way to set things off, but regardless, new Yeezy is gonna break the net as soon as we get word on it. But this was a cool retrospective look at a past unreleased pair. Let me know what you guys think about this down below. And lastly, yesterday we discussed how Travis Scott is finessing his way to a #1 spot with these upcoming Utopia merch bundles. So to kind of make a long story short, basically in 2019, Billboard changed their whole rules with album merch bundles. Artists used to finesse their way to #1 albums with these like merch bundles, or they would do like meet and greet bundles, tour bundles, all kind of things. It got crazy. Billboard stopped it in 2019, and now they are bringing back the merch bundles, but this time there are a few stipulations, you know, being as that you actually have to sell a physical copy of the album, whether it's a CD or a vinyl, you know, on top of the actual merchandise piece. And on top of that, the great thing is that now, you know, these pre-orders are out the door. To actually be eligible for an official album sale with these merch bundles, they have to actually ship within 2 weeks of the album release date. So that's great for fans, because in the past, we know these Travis Scott merches bundles were like pre-orders. People didn't get their stuff for sometimes like a year after they ordered it. So the great thing is, the website says is that everything will be shipped within 1 week of the album release. So that's great for fans. Let's take a deeper dive into what's actually dropping. The merch items range from $55 t-shirts to hoodies, which retail at $150. And I gotta say, the t-shirts, hoodies, you know, everything, the long sleeves, wow, there's nothing that's groundbreaking in terms of like the designs. You pretty much just got your basic graphics going on, but I would say out of all of the looks, there's nothing that's really ugly. So I'm not mad at all. I'm a fan of the kind of like Afro futuristic artwork direction that they're going in. So cool looking designs. The only thing I would say that I wouldn't wear out of this is the hats. I'm just not a fan of the shape of these kind of hats. They kind of remind me of like those like Jordan brand hats. You guys know what I'm talking about. So I was also laughing at the fact that there is a pre-order all option where you can literally add all 25 items to your cart at once. But then looking even at the details, it's even worse, where there's a limit of 4 items per customer. So you could literally purchase 100 bundles, you know, in one transaction per customer. So as I said yesterday, Travis is finessing his way. This is a guaranteed #1 spot, but we all knew he was already gonna be the #1 album. But with this whole merch bundle finesse, and people could, you know, purchase 100 albums at once, bruh, might literally sell over 1 million copies. And I did mention that I didn't have high hopes for the music, but I may have to retract that statement, because although I feel like Travis's music peak might have been considered Astro World, that's arguable or debatable or whatever, but I gotta say, with the lackluster amount of hip hop releases this year specifically, this joint actually, you know, may be decent. So as I said, they'll probably have a few decent bangers on here, but I gotta give Travis some props. You know, he's got a great, you know, discography of albums, you know, under his belt. And I feel like gotta respect the fact that, you know, Travis does put a little bit more, you know, on the production side. I feel like he has an amazing ear for beats and just, you know, creating a whole vibe overall. So there's a lot riding on this album. I think that regardless if it's good or bad, it doesn't matter, because people just love Travis, and it's just a wave right now. So let me know if you guys copped anything from the merch bundles. Let me know if you guys are excited for the album Utopia, and drop your feedback on all of the topics covered here in today's video. So salute to everybody. We're gonna wrap things up. Make sure y'all stay safe, stay blessed, and I'm out, y'all. Catch you tomorrow. Love.